Hello and welcome to SteadyStep English. I am so happy you are here with us today.
Hello, everyone. I am also very happy to be here.
In this show, we like to take a few steps back from the busy world. We slow down, we listen, and we learn together. Today, we are going to explore a very beautiful theme.
And that theme is
Connection.
connection. Okay, so when you say that, my mind immediately goes to technology, Wi-Fi, phone signals. But I have a feeling that's not what we're discussing today.
You are right. We are not talking about the internet. We're talking about the deep connections between people.
Okay.
It can be romantic, like the love between partners, but it can also be the connection we have with our community,
Our friends.
our friends, and even with nature. It's sort of this invisible thread that ties us all together.
That is a much bigger idea. It's interesting because this time of year, we're sort of pushed to focus on only one kind of connection.
Exactly.
You see the red hearts, the chocolate everywhere. Romantic love is the only thing that matters, or so it seems.
It does seem that way. And many people know about Valentine's Day, of course. It's a very famous holiday. But the world is full of different ways to celebrate love and community. If we only look at Valentine's Day, we miss the bigger picture.
I'm really curious about this. So is Valentine's Day the only day for romance around the world? Or are we just looking at it through, a Western lens?
That is a great question. And the answer is no, it is not the only day. Let's start our journey in Eastern Europe. Let's look at Romania.
Okay.
In Romania, they have a special holiday called Dragobete.
Dragobete. That's a new word for me. Sounds very old. When do they celebrate it?
It's celebrated on February 24th or sometimes on March 1st. But here's the important part. It is not just about human love. It is known as the head of spring.
The head of spring.
Yeah.
That creates a very clear image in my mind. So the holiday is connected to the season changing, not just a random date.
Precisely. The old stories say that this was the exact time when birds would find their mates. They'd start building their nests.
Oh, wow.
It's a sign that life is starting again after the cold winter.
I like that connection. It suggests that human love is part of a natural cycle, not something separate from nature. So do people celebrate it differently? Do they just go out to dinner?
No, the traditions are much more active. They involve going outside. Traditionally, young people would go into the woods.
Into the woods.
Yes, and they would look for snowdrops.
Snowdrops are those small white flowers that appear in early spring, right?
That's correct. They are often the first sign of life. Picking them is a way to welcome the new season. But there is another ritual that I think is even more fascinating.
Oh.
It involves the girls and young women. They would collect the last melting snow, or they would collect the dew from wild strawberries.
Dew, the water droplets on plants in the morning. That's very specific. Why do they collect it?
They believed that this water was magical, that because it was born from the spring transition, it held a special power.
And what was that power?
They believed that if they washed their face with this water, they would become beautiful and loving for the whole year.
That is such a poetic tradition. It's not about dyeing makeup. It connects personal beauty with the earth itself.
It is. There's also a famous saying in Romania, Dragobete kisses the girls. It was a day for joy. But let's move across Europe to Catalonia in Spain. They have a festival called St. Jordi.
I have heard of this one. I think this is the tradition that appeals to me the most because it involves books.
Yes, it is. It happens in April, and it is known as the Festival of the Book and the Rose.
The book and the rose.
On this day, the streets are filled with stalls selling books and flowers. Traditionally, men gave women a rose and women gave men a book.
That's the traditional way. Has that changed at all?
Yes, it has. Today, anyone can give a book or a flower to anyone they love. It celebrates intelligence and emotion together.
I really appreciate that balance. The rose is for emotion and beauty. The book is for ideas and stories. It feels so much deeper than just, buying a box of candy.
It does.
It feels like these traditions in Romania and Spain, they're connected to the earth waking up. They're about spring.
I agree. It feels more natural. But love is not celebrated in February or spring everywhere. In some places, the date is completely different.
Really? I just assumed spring was the universal season for love. Can you give me an example?
Of course. Let's look at Brazil. In Brazil, they do not celebrate love in February. February is for Carnival.
Right.
Instead, they celebrate love in June. They call it Festive June.
June. Why June? Is there a reason?
Yes, it is connected to a saint named Saint Anthony. In the Catholic tradition, he's known as the matchmaker saint.
The matchmaker saint. So he helps people find a partner.
Exactly. He helps people find a husband or a wife. So the tradition is religious, but it's also a rural tradition.
From the countryside.
Yes. It involves big community parties, local corn dishes, dancing. It is for the whole town, not just for couples. And Colombia is another example. They celebrate love and friendship in September.
So we have February, March, April, June, and September. Love really does happen all year round. It seems the date matters less than the intention behind it. Can I ask you a question about history, though? We hear so much about Saint Valentine. His name is everywhere. But who was he? Was he a real person?
That's a question many people ask. There is a legend, an old story, about a priest named Valentine who lived in Rome a long time ago.
And what did he do that made him so famous?
Well, the legend says the emperor of Rome was a very strict man. He wanted his soldiers to be single.
Single? Why?
He thought single men were better soldiers because they didn't have families to worry about. So the emperor banned marriage for young men.
That sounds incredibly harsh, trying to control human nature like that.
It was. But Valentine was a rebel. He believed in love, so he performed marriages for couples in secret.
In secret? So he was risking his life to connect people.
He was. And when the emperor found out, Valentine was sent to prison.
Wow. That adds a very serious layer to the holiday. It wasn't about candy. It was about fighting for the right to love. So is that where the idea of the Valentine card comes from?
Yes. The story says that while Valentine was in prison, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. And before he was executed, he sent her a letter. He signed it, "From your Valentine."
That is a very sad but beautiful story. It gives so much meaning to that phrase, "Be my Valentine."
It does. But today, many people feel that the holiday has lost that deep meaning. We often see a tension between commercial holidays and personal traditions.
By commercial, you mean businesses trying to sell things.
Exactly. Stores want us to buy expensive candy, jewelry, giant teddy bears. They tell us that if we spend more money, we love the person more.
I admit I often feel that pressure. I feel like I have to spend money to show I care. But actually, when I think about my happiest memories, they're not about gifts.
I think many listeners feel that same pressure. But we have to remember that simple things, they often mean more.
That's so true.
Cooking a meal together or visiting a special place, those things create a shared experience, a memory.
And memories last so much longer than chocolate.
Now, I want to shift our topic a little bit. We have talked about romantic connection and historical connection, but I want to talk about connecting with our community, and specifically how we connect with people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
That is a very important transition. Connection is about communication, after all. And I actually have a question about this. I want to be a good friend, but sometimes I just don't know the best way to communicate with someone who can't hear well. I feel a bit awkward.
That is a very honest admission. It is normal to feel unsure. I'd like to share some insights from a member of the deaf community. This person uses a cochlear implant.
A cochlear implant, that's a small electronic device that helps people hear, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But it is very important to understand that these implants are not a miraculous cure. They do not make hearing perfect.
I see. I always assumed that once you put it on, you could hear everything normally.
That is a common misconception. The device helps, but it isn't like a normal ear. It's very hard to hear in noisy places like a busy restaurant.
Right.
And it is also hard if the speaker has a mask on because the person cannot see their lips moving.
So if I am speaking to someone with an implant in a noisy room, they might still struggle to understand me.
Exactly. And this leads us to the most important rule of inclusive communication. The advice is this: never say never mind.
Never say never mind. I say that all the time. If someone doesn't hear me, I just say it because I don't want to bother them. Why that bad?
Well, imagine you are the deaf person. You know someone said something, you missed it, you ask them to repeat it because you want to connect. If that person says never mind, they are dismissing you.
Oh, I see. It sends the message that what you said wasn't worth the effort to repeat.
Yes. It makes the person feel excluded. It makes them feel like they are not important enough to be part of the conversation. It builds a wall.
I never thought about it that way. Saying never mind is like closing a door in their face. It isolates them.
That is a perfect description. It closes the door on connection.
So what's the better approach?
Yeah.
What should I do instead?
Be patient. Face the person directly so they can see your lips. Rephrase the sentence. Maybe use different words. Or you can simply write it down on your phone or a piece of paper.
That sounds so easy. It only takes a few seconds to write a sentence down.
It does, but those few seconds create a safe space. It shows the person that you value them and you are willing to make a small effort to include them. That is true inclusivity.
Thank you. That's a small change of behavior, but I can see how it makes a massive emotional difference.
Absolutely. Now let's move to our final segment. We've talked about love and community. Let's talk about the internal connection, hope and wellness.
We can all use a little hope and wellness, especially during difficult times.
I want to tell you a short story. It's an allegorical story, which means the characters represent ideas. It is about 3 characters: hope, wellness, and recovery.
Okay, I'm listening. It sounds like a fable.
One day, hope, wellness, and recovery were arguing. Hope said, "I am the most important. Without me, you two would not exist. I am the dream of getting better."
Hope has a point. If you don't believe you can get better, you usually don't try.
True. But wellness and recovery disagreed. They said, "We are the action, the process, the diet, the exercise, the medicine. Without us, hope is just a wish."
That's also true. You can't just hope for health. You have to take action.
In the end, they realized they were all correct. They stopped arguing. They saw that they must work together like a symphony.
A symphony. I like that.
Hope provides the spark. Wellness and recovery provide the work and the journey.
That is a beautiful image. You know, this reminds me of something. Sometimes I find that connection and hope come just from being outside.
You mean connecting with nature?
Yes. When I'm stressed or anxious, I like to walk in the park. The fresh air, the trees. It just grounds me.
That is a very old and wise practice. The Navajo people, who are Native Americans, have a beautiful prayer called Walking in Beauty.
Walking in beauty. I would love to hear some of it.
It is a chant about being surrounded by nature. It goes like this. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk.
With beauty before me I walk. That's very calming. It places you right in the center of the world.
It reminds us that we are surrounded by life. Nature can help heal depression, anxiety, isolation. It reminds us we are part of something bigger.
Speaking of comfort, sometimes connection comes from something much simpler. From food. When I want to feel comforted, I like to have a warm drink. Have you ever tried Champurrado?
Champurrado, yes, that is a thick, warm chocolate drink from Mexico, isn't it?
Yes, made with corn dough. It's so thick and sweet, it feels like a hug in a cup. Reminds me of family.
I have a tip for you. If you make it at home, there's a secret to making it even better.
Oh, yeah.
You should substitute the water with milk or evaporated milk.
Substitute the water for milk.
Yes. Many recipes use water, but milk gives it a really good flavor. It makes it richer and creamier.
I will definitely try that next time. It's amazing how food can connect us to memories and feelings of safety.
We have covered a lot of ground today. Let's slow down for a moment and look back at what we learned. Today, we explored how love is celebrated differently in places like Romania, Brazil, and Catalonia. We learned that true connection is more than just commercial gifts. It is about nature, patience, and history. We also discussed the importance of including everyone, especially by being patient with those who cannot hear well. Finally, we saw that hope and wellness work together to help us live happy lives.
That was a wonderful journey. I feel like I understand the word connection much better now.
And now it is time for our vocabulary word tour. We have selected 10 important words from today's discussion. We will give you the definition and an example.
Are you ready? Let's go.
The first word is tradition.
Tradition. Definition. A custom or belief that is passed down from generation to generation. Example. It is a tradition in my family to bake bread every Sunday.
The next word is community.
Community. Definition. A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Example. The local community came together to clean the park.
Our third word is inclusivity.
Inclusivity. Definition. The practice of including people who might otherwise be excluded or treated differently. Example. We need more inclusivity in our schools so every student feels welcome.
The fourth word is resilience.
Resilience. Definition. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. Example. Her resilience helped her stay positive during the difficult year.
Number 5 is commercial.
Commercial. Definition.
Yeah.
Concerned with or engaged in commerce intended to make a profit. Example. Valentine's Day has become very commercial, with stores selling expensive candy.
Next is legend.
Legend. Definition. A traditional story sometimes regarded as historical but unauthenticated. Example. The legend says that the mountain is actually a sleeping giant.
The 7th word is ritual.
Ritual. Definition. A religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. Example. Drinking tea in the morning is a calming ritual for me.
Next, we have appreciation.
Appreciation. Definition. Recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. Example. He showed his appreciation for the gift by writing a thank you note.
Almost there. Number 9 is substitute.
Substitute. Definition. A person or thing acting or serving in place of another. Example. You can substitute honey for sugar if you want a healthier cake.
And our final word is analyze.
Analyze. Definition. To examine methodically and in detail the constitution or structure of something. Example. We need to analyze the problem before we can find a solution.
That's it for today. Remember, every minute you spend listening is a step closer to fluency. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe and join our learning community. Before you go, I have a challenge for you. Write one new word you learned today in the comment field below. I will see you at our next episode at SteadyStep English.